Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to another episode of In Between the Number Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Daryl. And tonight, we're just going to be kicking it around, talking about some some storylines in the NFL. And also, we're going to be talking about some storylines that I wanted to talk about that I never got around to talking about. So that's what we're going to do tonight. So, as you can see, the main topic that we're going to be talking about is unhappy star wide receivers in the NFL and whether or not they're just being divas or their frustrations and complaints are justified. So, the first person we're going to be talking about is Devontae Adams, right? Uh, Wide receiver from the Las Vegas Raiders. And uh, Devontae recently came out after they lost and said that, you know, he don't have time to be waiting around for the Raiders to figure it out, right? Um, I mean, this isn't the first time Devontae has spoken out, right? He's to me, he's been disgruntled for a while. He's he's kind of been saying stuff even since the first season that he got there. And I definitely think it's justified because he came from playing with Aaron Rodgers to go and play with Derek Carr. And although him and Derek Carr are best friends because they played um, in college together, right? They're best friends. It didn't work out. He got traded to the Raiders to play with Derek Carr, and then um, they pretty much ran Derek Carr off, right? Um, they ran him off, um, and now he's with the Saints. And Devontae Adams is stuck in Las Vegas when one of the main reasons why he went to Las Vegas is to play with his best friend who is no longer there. So he said some things about that last season, and then turn around this season. The Raiders are 1-3, and Devontae Adams is beginning to start. He's frustrated, man. He wants to win, right? He knows what winning is, right? He played with um, the Hall of Famer in Aaron Rodgers, and they won a lot of games together, right? They may have not made very deep playoff runs together, but they run they won a lot of regular season games together, right? Him and Aaron Rodgers, they made history together. So he's just used to playing with, uh, you know, he's used to having elite quarterback play, and right now it just seems like uh, Jimmy Garoppolo isn't it, and Josh McDaniels is in over his head. So the season is still young. They're 1-3. They got a long way to go and see if they can turn it around. But I definitely think that Devontae Adams is not being a diva, and I think what he's saying is justified. He came back out and said that he was not taking a shot at the coaching staff. He was just saying his frustrations, and he think that his words got around to the people that needed to hear his words, his frustrations. So I don't think he's a diva. I think he's justified. Moving on to the next wide receiver, we're moving on to uh, Chase Claypool, right? Chase Claypool was drafted out of Notre Dame in the second round, went to the Steelers. He had a great rookie campaign, and then he started pretty much letting the hype and the first year success go to his head. He started doing all of the TikTok dances and the TikTok challenges with Juju Smith Schuster, and you know had a bunch of antics. Had some words for Tomlin in the form of saying, pretty much saying that Mike Tomlin needs to loosen up and let them listen to music in the at practice and some stuff like that. And Tomlin went back at him, and you know Chase Claypool was not able to kind of regain the magic out of success that he had his rookie year with the Steelers, and he ended up being traded away to the Chicago Bears, right? And he has not been great with the Chicago Bears. There was rumors that he didn't know the playbook. There's rumors that he's lazy, he doesn't try hard, uh, and recently he came out and said that. he don't think the Bears are putting him in the proper position to make plays, and it's almost like when it rains, it pours because uh, the not the Browns, the Bears gave up um, a pretty good haul to get Chase Claypool, right, to help um, Justin Fields, right, and it hasn't been too successful yet. Justin Fields came out and kind of called out the coaches, and now you got Chase Claypool, um, you know, essentially calling out the coaches because the coaches are the ones who put you in position to make plays, right? Either they design a play with you in mind because of your playmaking abilities, or they create some type of concept or matchup to better put you in a position to uh, you know, win your one-on-ones, your matchups, right? So he pretty much is calling out the coaching staff, and it's just another chapter in the Chase Claypool saga. Chase Claypool is extremely talented, right? The dude is tall, he's athletic, he can run, he can catch, right? It's like like Marshawn Lynch said, right? He's just not protecting his chickens, right? I feel like, you know, I just feel like he is not focused. And I know it can be kind of hard to focus and play up to a high level when you're playing on a team like Chicago. But he just hasn't been living up to uh, his full potential. And you know, they have DJ Moore. So him and DJ Moore, they have the ability to be a dynamic duo, right? Um, but it just hasn't lived up to that yet for Chase Claypool with the Bears. But given Chase play, given Chase Claypool's history, I'm gonna say that he's just been a diva. That he needs to lock in, focus, and show everyone why he was a second round pick, and show everyone that his first season with the Steelers was not a fluke. That he's still that dude. All right, so our third wide receiver that's kind of been, you know, showing some frustration is that boy, that man, Justin Jefferson, right? Justin Jefferson, the Minnesota Vikings are 0-3. They had a lot of turnover so far this season. And uh, coming off the year that they had last year, right? Where they was pretty much uh well they was they went far, right? They won, let's see, they let me look it up. Yeah, they was the NFC North champions last season, right? And I ain't gonna lie, when I saw that uh the Vikings drafted Addison, and I was like, man, the Vikings are gonna be, they're gonna be tough to beat, right? And then here we are now. They start off the season 0-3, right? And Justin Jefferson, he came out and said that he's tired of hearing about the trade rumors around him and whether or not the roster is going to get flipped because they're 0-3. And he's saying that, hey, the season isn't over yet. It's only been 3 games. Yes, it's frustrating that they lost 3 games, but it's still early in the season, and he just wants the noise around whether or not who's going to get traded, um, and what's going to happen in the offseason to stop, right? But I still think that Justin Jefferson is frustrated because, um, you know, a little while ago they asked him who was his top quarterbacks, and he didn't name Kirk Cousins, and a lot of people took that as him taking a shot at Kirk Cousins because why would you not pick your first quarterback, right? Uh, Justin Jefferson was drafted obviously by the Minnesota Vikings, and the only quarterback that he's known in the pros has been Kirk Cousins, but he picked a few other people, and some people looked at that as him taking a shot at Kirk Cousins. And if I had to say, I think that because Justin Jefferson is a very polarizing player in the NFL, he's a superstar. He is very mindful of his words, right? But I think if you talked to him behind closed doors and told him that it was off the record, I think that he would voice his uh, opinions about playing with Kirk Cousins. I don't think he wants to play with Kirk Cousins. I think he would prefer to play with uh, Joe Burrow or prefer to play with another quarterback who, you know, I don't know who just performs better under pressure than Kirk Cousins, right? I think that um, if Justin Jefferson had his way, he would pick another quarterback to replace Kirk Cousins if he had his way. But you know, Justin Jefferson does a very good job of uh, taking it on the chin per se and not throwing anyone under the bus. But I definitely can sense some frustrations there with Justin Jefferson, and I don't think he's been a diva. I think it's justified. It's just frustrated to be 0-3 after the season that you had last year, and this year it just seems like you can't get out of your own way. So they got the Panthers next, so they got a very very strong chance of beating the Panthers and getting their first win of the season, and hopefully them beating the Panthers gets creates some momentum with that team, and you know they go on a winning streak, right? They they put the 0-3 start in the rearview mirror, and they start to put together some wins. But I don't think that um, Justin Jefferson is being a diva. I think that he is justified. Now, one of the things that I want to talk about last week that I didn't get a chance to talk about is Sean Payton, right? Now, we all know Sean Payton is the coach of the Denver Broncos. And before that, he was the head coach for the New Orleans Saints. And it almost seemed like he pretty much quit, right? When Drew Brees retired, they got Jameis Winston. They had Taysom Hill, and I think that you know Sean Payton was just like, "Nah, man, I can't do this. I'm not gonna, wreck my brain trying to coach uh, a quarterback like Jameis Winston and uh, you know a gadget player like Taysom Hill. So I was gonna go ahead and retire." And a lot of the Saints fan base believe that he quit on them. Uh, they believe that he did some foul stuff to be able to go to another team. And to me, it seemed like he did. It seemed like he did quit on the New Orleans Saints, right? But going back a little bit further, right? We all know that Sean Payton was suspended for Bounty Gate, right? Where players was headhunting. And so he has, he's a very he's a very kind of shady operator, right? He's a very shady dude. Like if you look at him, he seems very arrogant and is kind of a very like shady dude to me, right? But when he took the job with the Denver Broncos, uh, he pretty much had some very harsh words to say about the former uh, Denver Broncos coach, uh, Nate Hackett, right? He had some very harsh words to say, right? Um, in I think it was a Sports Illustrated or a US Today article, right? He had some very harsh words to say. And I think it's karma, right? I think he got his karma. I think he got his karma for one, saying those harsh words about the previous head coach, which in NFL that's kind of like a no-no, right? Two, you know, he kind of came in that organization with I'm the boss mentality, even though his Super Bowl win is pretty old, right? His Super Bowl win was years ago. He only won one Super Bowl with Drew Brees, right? I mean, you can argue that he should have won more than that, but he only won one. But the NFL is hard, so one Super Bowl is cool, but he only won one, right? And he comes in there and he tries to, insert his will, insert his arrogance and his dominance over the players, and it's backfired in his face. And I think karma is a bitch because, you know, just be humble, man. You don't have to be arrogant, right? And, he also had some stuff to say about Russell Wilson, pretty much saying Russell Wilson shouldn't care whether or not people like him or not, right? And you know, I think I think karma's catching up with him. I think that the game has passed him by, right? He is a good head coach. He was a creative play caller, but I think the game has passed him by, right? I think um, a lot of the younger coaches are more innovative um, than Sean Payton, and I think he's just getting this karma for all of the shit that he's done in the past and the things that he continue to do in the present, right? And they are, another team who's um, they don't have any wins. They're struggling mighty, um, whether it's karma or injuries, but they don't have any wins. And I see people are trying to blame the losses on Russell Wilson. Well, Russell Wilson doesn't play defense. So explain to me how Russell Wilson is supposed to stop the Miami Dolphins from scoring um, what they scored on the Denver Broncos. It was a blowout. The score was 70-20. It was 70-20. So how is Russell Wilson supposed to stop them from scoring 70? He doesn't play safety. He doesn't play cornerback. He doesn't play linebacker. He plays quarterback. So I just think Sean Payton needs to humble himself. He needs to just shut his mouth, coach the team, and again, the season is still early. They're 0-3, but they can turn it around, and they can turn the L's into W's, and they can get on a hot streak, right? It's the NFL. Every Sunday is really hard. It's a really hard sport to play, but just as fast as you're struggling, you can find yourself winning just as fast. So I just think that he just needs to, um, you know, shut his mouth. This, I'm pretty sure if one of his players was running their mouths like he was, then he would probably tell them to shut their mouth. So I just think he just needs to shut his mouth. And hopefully, because I am a Russell Wilson fan, I hope that you know they can turn it around and get this thing rolling in the right direction. Because I had high hopes for the Denver Broncos. I did. I thought that Sean Payton was going to be able to come in there and turn things around, but it hasn't been like that so far. So hopefully they can get things going. All right, so that's gonna end tonight's episode, right? Um, as always, I appreciate everyone for supporting the videos, liking, commenting, and subscribing. We're at 96 subscribers, right? So we are uh, 4 subscribers away from hitting 100 subscribers. So subscribe, 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 subscribe. Leave a like, leave a comment, click that bell to get all notifications when uh, a new video drop, and continue to drop. And continue to support the videos. At 100 subscribers, I'm going to give a giveaway, right? At 100 subscribers, I'm going to do a giveaway. I'm going to do a giveaway to celebrate hitting 100 subscribers. So once we hit 100 subscribers, I'm gonna have a giveaway. But until then, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you can get all the notifications. And until next time,